all are fitting fine at your places. I'm Priyanka Bish from Ardent Progressive School. Today in this session, we'll be learning about the topic goods and service tax, which is also known as GST. In the previous class, we have studied about all the accounting principles and conventions which are to be followed while preparing the accounts. And also we have studied about accounting standards which are to be followed by every accountant in the world so that there can be a uniformity in preparing the accounts of the companies. So here we will be completely studying about the topic goods and service tax. How many types of goods and service taxes are there? Goods and service tax, which is an indirect tax with the motive of one nation, one tax. This is the main motive of goods and service tax, one nation, one tax. All the indirect tax which were imposed on various items is now merged and now they are known as goods and service tax. So we can also call it as GST. So this is the last topic we'll be discussing in chapter 2 of accounting, that is theory base of accounting. So we'll start with a very basic concept of goods and service tax, which is also called GST. And the motive of GST is one nation, one tax. So let's start with the concept here. GST is an indirect tax levied on the supply of goods and services. Now here the question arises, what is indirect tax? So indirect tax is a tax that is levied upon the goods and services before they reach the customer, who ultimately pays the indirect tax as a part of market price of the good or service purchased. So here whatever amount the customer is paying, higher amount, that is considered as indirect tax. Now this tax is paid by customers, but it is remitted to the government by business selling goods and services. So if we are purchasing a product of MRP 10 rupees, that doesn't mean that product cost is actually 10 rupees. The manufacturer may have produced the product at the lower cost, and when the product reached to the ultimate customers, its price is increased. So whatever increased amount of price which the customer is paying, this is known as indirect tax. So we can say that customers are paying this tax and the businesses are remitting this higher amount to the government, which is known as indirect tax. Next, GST Act was passed on 24th March 2017 and it came into effect from 1st July 2017. So here we can say that GST is proposed to be levied at all stages, right from manufacturer up to final consumption, with the credit of taxes paid at the previous stages available as set off. So in a nutshell, we can say that only the value addition will be taxed and burden of tax to be borne by the final customers. GST is an indirect tax levied on the supply of goods and services, and it is a nationwide tax seeking to unify the several indirect taxes and is based on the principle of one nation, one tax. So indirect taxes can be excise duty, custom duty, service tax, etc. All these indirect taxes are merged into one tax, which is known as GST. As direct tax means the amount of tax which we are directly paying to the government, and indirect tax means the amount of tax which we are paying to the government but indirectly through the businessman. So we will now see what are the indirect taxes which are merged to GST. The GST has replaced many indirect taxes levied by central and state government. So here we'll be studying first about central level taxes that have merged into GST. So first is excise duty. Excise duty is levied on the manufacture of goods and is levied at the same time of removal of goods. So while GST will be levied on the supply of goods and services, in GST, excise duties place has been taken by central GST. Second, we have custom duty. Custom duty refers to the tax imposed on the goods when they are transported across the international borders. So custom duty is basically levied on import and export of goods. Third, we have service tax. The service tax was an indirect tax which was levied by the government on the services offered by service provider. And last is central sales tax. So central sales tax is a tax on sales of goods levied by the central government of India. So these were some central level indirect taxes which was merged in GST. So it is called central level taxes merged in GST. Next we will see what are the state level taxes which have merged into GST. So first is octroi and entry tax. Second is purchases tax, entertainment tax, VAT which is value added tax, luxury tax and taxes on lottery. So these are some state level indirect taxes which are now merged into GST, which is goods and service tax. So we have studied that there were some central level indirect taxes and state level indirect taxes. All these indirect taxes are now merged into one tax which is known as goods and service tax. Now we will learn about the main components of GST. So there are three main components of GST, which is CGST, that is Central Goods and Service Tax. Second is SGST, that is State Goods and Service Tax. And last is IGST, which is Integrated Goods and Service Tax. So if we talk about the first component, which is Central Goods and Service Tax. So CGST means Central Goods and Service Tax. Taxes collected under CGST will constitute the revenue of the central government. The present central taxes like central excise duty, additional excise duty, special excise duty, central sales tax, etc. all these will be subsumed under CGST. Now next is SGST. SGST means State Goods and Service Tax. A collection of SGST is the revenue of the state government, and with GST all the state tax like VAT, which is value added tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, entry tax, etc. will be merged with GST. For example, Ramesh, a dealer in Punjab, sell goods to Seema in Punjab worth rupees 10,000. Now, if the GST rate is 18%, that is 9% CGST and 9% SGST. So, rupees 900 will go to central government and rupees 900 will go to Punjab government. This is the example of CGST and SGST. Now, the last component is IGST, which is Integrated Goods and Service Tax. So, IGST means Integrated Goods and Service Tax. Revenue collected under IGST is divided between central and state government as per the rate specified by the government. So IGST is charged on transfer of goods and services from one state to another. We can say import of goods and services are also covered under IGST. For example, if the goods are transferred from Madhya Pradesh to Rajasthan, then this transaction will attract IGST. So these were the three main components of GST. Now here is the GST rate structure. Goods and services are divided into 5 slabs for collection of GST. Let's see what are these slabs. First is 0%. So 0% GST is imposed on essential items including food. Second is 5%. 5% GST is imposed on common use items such as household necessities like tea, coffee, sugar, oil, coal, life-saving drugs, all these items will have the rate 5% GST. Next is 12%. So 12% GST is imposed on the goods like computers, processed foods, etc. Next we have 18% tax rate. So 18% tax rate will be imposed on the items such as toothpaste, soaps, capital goods and industrial intermediaries. All these are covered in this slab. And the last slab is 28%. So 28% of GST rate is imposed on luxury items and tobacco such as small cars, consumer durables like AC, refrigerators, premium cars, etc. So this is the complete structure of GST, where there are 5 tax slabs. So GST is paid on purchase of goods and services, and GST is collected from customers on sale of goods and services. So here in case of purchase, GST is paid, and in case of sale, the GST is collected from the customer. GST paid will be termed as input GST, and GST collected will be termed as output GST. So basically, input GST is set off against the output GST. Now at last, we'll be studying about advantages or objectives of GST. First advantage is decrease in cost of goods. So the cost of goods will decrease since tax on tax is eliminated in GST regime. In the pre-GST regime, there were many indirect taxes levied by both center and state. For example, center charged excise duty on goods manufactured and state charged value added tax on the same goods. So this lead to a tax on tax, which is known as cascading effect of taxes. Next objective is ease of doing business. So goods and service tax basically harmonizes the tax administration between the center and the states, which will improve the ease of doing business. Third advantage is reduce tax evasion. So here electronic return filing and assessment will reduce tax evasion and compliance cost. And last is more reliable. After the GST, tax system becomes more transparent, regular and predictable. So in this session, we have learned about the concept of GST, main components of GST, GST structure, and also about the advantages of GST. With this, we have completed the second chapter of accountancy, which is theory base of accounting. In the next session, we'll be starting a new chapter. That's all for today. Thank you.